If those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it, and we're seeing that in a lot of this anti-Semitism, particularly anti-Semitic tropes that are being brought out now. A local council in Melbourne, the Port Phillip Council, which I unfortunately used to live in, the great lefties that they are, have been forced to remove an anti-Semitic mural in Balaclava, which is a suburb of Melbourne, after outrage from the Jewish community. You can see the images there. Andrew Bolt had the exclusive on this on Thursday night. The council at the time said that they'd consulted with members of the Jewish community and there was nothing to see here. But of course now they've backstepped, they've had to apologise, they're in the process of removing the work. Can I just say, you look at that, you cannot look at that and tell me that there are not clear anti-Semitic tropes.
It's particularly egregious, right? Because unlike, say, the city of Yarra, which is as left as Karl Marx himself and as white as the driven snow, because immigrants can't afford to live there anymore. The city of Port Phillip, St Kilda, in the sort of, the cool, hip, inner Bayside suburbs, Balaclava is almost the Jewish heartland of Melbourne. So the number 3 trams, which I used to catch from Caulfield station to St Kilda, where my uncle lived and was a former mayor of St Kilda, actually, a superstar he was, and not very anti-Semitic at all, I can tell you that. He loved it. But the idea that you would stick this up in the middle of basically the Jewish capital of Australia just shows, I think, how deranged some of these people are, and also angry and nasty. So again, it's like that protest we saw that took place outside the synagogue in Caulfield, where it's not actually just saying this is what I think about this conflict happening on the other side of the world. It's like this is what I think about you, and I'm going to march up with a mob to your front door.
Can I give you some language that helps on this? Because one of the readers of my website who'd lived in Germany said in Germany they don't use the word anti-Semitic. They now say Jew hatred. Because
and that's what it is.
Blunter and more honest, and they think anti-Semitic is too soft. So they're saying Jew hatred. And if you started talking about the Jew hatred displayed in something like that dreadful mural that we saw, or the things that have been going on, if we talk about it as Jew hatred, suddenly it takes on another dimension. And you see how huge it is.
And I suppose it's the same, Liz, like before I said I prefer to call them pro-Hamas protesters as opposed to pro-Palestine.
Yeah, and hate marches instead of protests.
But the thing is, if you take all these things together, right, and all of them are true, and this is the problem right at the very heart of this, and the absolute lie at the heart of what the radicals, the pro-Palestinian radicals, try to claim. So, firstly, you don't need to go to any of these rallies before people hating Israelis and and praising the killing of Israelis very quickly say they will also want to kill the Jews and gas the Jews. It just slips out, and it slipped out from day one, night one, outside the Sydney Opera House. And again, these are people who knew they were being filmed, who were so joyous about it.
They showed us exactly what.
So there wasn't a distinction between hating Jews and hating Israelis, let alone hating Zionists.
And that was the 9th of October.
Which is what they used to say.